Widzowie, wjeżdżamy w takie uniwersum, że to jest szok, jak lubicie te straszne filmiki. Ja widziałem jakieś urywki z tego, to są zajebiste rzeczy, bo one są z życia po prostu straszne, wzięte, w większości nie stage'owane, to są po prostu randomowe sytuacje z życia. W Ameryce popularne jest używanie ringa. Czym jest ring? Kamerka przed chatą, która łączy się z twoim telefonem i jak ktoś przychodzi, to możesz zobaczyć, że ktoś przyszedł, kto to jest i na przykład podejść do drzwi. Czaisz, o co chodzi. I też nagrywa takie rzeczy, jak ktoś podchodzi losowo. Także tak, wjeżdżamy w nagrania z tego właśnie.
It's been a long year since I've done a ring cameras video, and as it turns out, people are still creeps and a lot of new videos
Kurwa
have
mać,
surfaced.
to już się zaczyna dobrze.
This first video is a very real and grisly reminder that danger can be following you anywhere at any time, even to your front door. And it can be a lesson, especially for women, to be alert of your surroundings, especially before opening your front door.
O kur... idzie jakiś creep za nią. Ja pierdolę, chowa się tam, a ona z dzieckiem w ogóle idzie, Jezus. Ale wolno idzie, obserwuje. O, nie wiem, czy obserwuje. Ty, idzie czy nie? Za drzewo? Kurwa, no tak jakby trochę się skradał. O kurwa! No i to jest to. Oni najczęściej tak robią, bo zdarzało mi się jakieś takie reelsy widzieć. To jest pokurwione, stary. Oni tylko liczą na to, że nie zamkniesz za sobą drzwi, nie? To są takie pojeby. Ja pierdolę. Idę sprawdzić, czy mam zamknięte. Ja PD, dobra, jestem safe. Boska. Dobra, oglądamy.
As you just saw, a mother holding her infant daughter unknowingly leads a man to her front door and was mere seconds away from him getting inside. As the man approaches the driveway, you can see him pulling up the mask over his face to conceal his identity, clearly with premeditated intentions. As the man walks up the driveway, the daughter takes notice to him as the mother is still completely oblivious to the approaching threat. Luckily, she makes it inside and shuts the door in time.
Porąbane jest to, że ona mogła iść trochę wolniej i no nie zdążyłaby wejść do domu, być może.
She only realized what had just happened after looking through the terrifying ring footage. The woman made a report to the police as soon as she saw the footage, and what the police said was disturbing. There had been a series of reports of a brutal and violent rapist in the area who had been targeting women and children. It's suspected that he and this man were the same person. No sane person leaves their house with a full face mask such as this one if they're not knowingly about to commit a serious crime and want to conceal their identity. The woman in the video just may have saved her and her child's life just by the skin of her teeth. If you're not convinced of just how often this kind of thing happens, here's a similar video. A young college-age looking girl is coming home, letting herself into her house.
Oj.
Not even 5 seconds after she enters the home,
Oj.
2 large men step on the porch, and the one in front immediately tries to open the door.
Kurwa, aż się stresuje, jak ona długo to otwiera. O kurwa mać. Dobra, drugie zamknięte. Jeszcze pukają, żeby wyszła do nich, kurwa. O, dzwonię na policję, krzyknęła. No i kurwa uciekają. Dobra, to jest tak pojebane, nie?
Some people think the men looked genuinely confused and may have had the wrong house.
Znaczy może, nie wiem, szli na imprezę i pomylili domy. No ale wiesz, to jest 50-50.
However, the short window of time between the girl entering the house and the men stepping on the porch would have definitely allowed them to see the girl. You'd think anyone who just tries to open the door to a house surely must know they have the right house, or at the very least, know who lives in the house.
No
Also,
właśnie, kto od razu łapie za klamkę, jak z bomby, nie?
we argue that when the man turns to his friend behind him, he's making mention of the camera, and so he pretends to think he has the right house by sticking around and knocking, despite the obvious screams from the girl inside as she notices the men at the door. It seems they only run off after the girl starts screaming, "We're calling the police." So unlike the first video, there's no 100% proof of whether these guys had bad intentions or not. Whether they were trying to grab the girl, or if they genuinely had the wrong house is up for debate, as there's no further info on this video. If it is the second one, still, everything about the men's actions was sketchy.
O nie, to było
In this
dziwne.
video, on the other hand, what's going on couldn't be more clear. In the early morning hours on October 16th in Kent, Washington, a couple's seen returning home. The husband is seen unlocking the door, and seconds later, as the man's wife follows behind, she turns her head to a gun-wielding suspect chasing behind her. She acts quickly and by unlocking the front door. The suspect then spots the ring camera and hits it repeatedly with his gun, effectively breaking the device.
No i to jest... Tu chyba wątpliwości nie mamy.
It's at this time that you can notice a second man there as well. The couple spent their night at a casino, and for this reason, the wife believes the two men followed them home from the casino hoping to rob them of any of their winnings. Fortunately, they made it inside safely. The suspect with the gun was identified by police as 18-year-old Al-Hussein Drameh, and he was arrested on October 26th. He faced multiple charges, including burglary in the first degree,
Ja
and he pleaded
pierdolę.
not guilty to all of them. With this fourth video, we move to something a little more paranormal. This was caught on a TikToker named Nolan Brock's indoor Ring security camera while he was sleeping on the couch. At 1:39 in the morning, he's awoken to the pantry doors opening and some kind of cracks or bangs coming from either inside the pantry or from the doors themselves.
Oho. O kurwa.
With the fan running, the thought of it being a draft wasn't out of the question per se. He ignored it and tried to go back to sleep. But 4 minutes later at 1:43, this happened.
Czyli co?
One of the doors is aggressively yanked shut. And this officially removes any possibility of a draft being the cause of the doors moving. It's safe to assume he slept in his bed the rest of the night. This next video also comes from inside of a house instead of the front porch, and this one can play on one of the biggest fears of a lot of people, and that is someone lurking around your house as you sleep. In Wichita, Kansas, a family's Ring cameras captured some terrifying video footage of a stranger standing directly over sleeping 15-year-old Anaya Robinson at around 2:30 a.m. on a Friday night. This was the footage captured.
Co?
Anaya said once she opened her eyes, she felt like she was in a scene from a horror movie, seeing somebody sitting over her, watching her that she
Ty
didn't
łazi
know.
po domu normalnie.
Anaya
kurwa.
rushed to her mother Angel's room, screaming there's somebody in the house, and after being jolted awake, Angel made sure her 2-year-old daughter and Anaya were safe in a room before calling the police. Wichita police responded quickly, but the intruder was already gone. It's likely the boy entered the house simply through the front door.
Jak można nie zamykać chaty, kurwa?
Luckily, the Ring cameras clearly caught his face, and using this footage, the police acted on a tip and were able to arrest a 14-year-old boy whose name was not released. The boy faced aggravated burglary and theft charges. In November 2021, a woman reported on Twitter that a creepy-looking man had been standing outside of her apartment almost every night for an entire month.
Nie no,
She
kurwa.
included a few of the videos caught by her Ring camera, and it shows the man creepily standing there for extended periods of time,
Czy
facing
on się
her door.
uśmiecha? Kurwa, jeszcze główkę przechyla.
At certain points, he can be heard speaking. But what he says is impossible to hear. The woman resorted to posting this on Twitter after her complaints to the police apparently fell on deaf ears.
Nie no kurwa, jakim cudem? Dzwonisz, że prawdopodobnie ktoś chce się włamać do twojego mieszkania. Od 30 dni przychodzi i stoi tutaj, więc proszę przyjechać i go łapią od tyłu. Co
It was a
on,
few
kurwa,
days
robi?
after her initial post that she posted an update stating that her friends and family confronted the man, which seemingly got him to stop.
Okay.
Additionally, the post going viral prompted her building security to do an additional routine throughout the night. I can't seem to find her Twitter profile anymore, so there don't appear to be any updates on the matter. And in this last video, an El Paso resident's ring camera catches what appears at first to be a woman in danger seeking help at their front door in the middle of the night. But this may be a much more sinister situation than that.
Poka to. Kurwa, jakaś chyba pijana, rozczochrana. Uciekała przed kimś, czy
At
co?
first, the woman appears to be in distress, possibly on the run from someone, crying and pleading for help. But things start getting suspicious when she hides anytime a car is approaching.
Otworzylibyście takiej? Ja nie. Niestety. Ja bym ewentualnie może przez drzwi zapytał, czy wiesz, zadzwonić na policję w jej imieniu, ale nie ma bata, no bo to może być podpucha też, nie? Auto jedzie. I się chowa, kurwa.
Is she hiding from a specific person chasing after her? Or is she perhaps trying to not be seen from any passerbys?
Dziwne, aby w takim stroju chciała się włamać. No ale patrz sytuację. Nie wiem, jeśli ja coś takiego skminię, no to oni też by mogli skminić. No każdy debil to skmini. Chcesz się włamać komuś do domu. Bierzesz koleżankę, która rozczochruje włosy, wygląda na przerażoną aktorzy, chodzi w jakiejś sukience, bez butów, prosi o pomoc, a ty jesteś zaraz za rogiem w kominiarce. Tylko drzwi się otworzą i jazda.
After the neighbor's driveway light turns on, a car's headlights approach from the right, and she's seen casually walking away, presumably to get in that unseen car, perhaps because her driver was growing paranoid that too much attention was being drawn, so they needed to leave. Now you could say that's just a far-fetched theory of mine, but a month later, El Paso police arrested a woman who
Wypiary
was
mordę widać? No dobra, to potem na przesłuchaniu mówi, że ją zmuszono i celowano do niej z broni, a tamtych ziomów w kominiarkach nie zidentyfikujesz. No i chuj. Nie otwierajcie ludziom drzwi.
charged with burglary of habitation. That woman was Krista Nicole Cordeau. The woman in the video looks identical to the woman in this mugshot.
Oho,
The charge this woman faced is defined as the act of entering any building illegally with the plan to do something serious, such as harming the owner,
a, ona sama w ogóle chciała kogoś rozpierdolić. No to widzisz.
damaging property, or
Jeszcze lepiej.
stealing. Suddenly, the prospect that this woman could have been trying to trick an unsuspecting person into opening their door doesn't seem so far-fetched. As always, keep your doors locked and be careful who you open them to.
Ale aż ciary mnie przechodzą, jak te oglądam materiały. O stary, masakra. A to pokaż Vol 2. To dawaj ten.
On the 22nd of November 2019, at around 8 p.m., a doorbell camera at a home in Harriet Creek Ranch, Texas, captured footage of a young girl approaching the front door. She was holding a flashlight and looked extremely distressed.
Oho.
She also kept checking behind her, likely to see if someone was following her or not.
Help, please.
Unfortunately for her, the house she approached was empty. The residents were away on vacation, so no one was there to answer. This made her even more panicked as she continued to beg for help.
Please help.
By the time the homeowners noticed the footage, it was already too late. The little girl was long gone, and there were no signs of her anywhere in the neighborhood. But the big question remained: who the girl was, and why she had come to their door in such a frightened state that night.
A dziecku takiemu byś nie otworzył? Oczywiście, że nie, bo również może być aktorem podstawionym. To po pierwsze, a po drugie, mogłaby nagle się stransformować w jakiegoś skinwalkera jebanego, wiesz o co chodzi? Nie no, nie otworzyłbym, no. Nie ma bata. Jak dzieciom na Halloween nie otwieram, ale kiedyś mnie kusiło, żeby się przebrać tak mega realistycznie za coś pojebanego i dzieciaków na Halloween samemu straszyć. Że spierdalały w popłochu. Ale nigdy tego nie zrobiłem, niestety.
The homeowners didn't recognize her, and she didn't look like any of the neighbors' kids either, so they contacted the police and also uploaded the footage online, hoping the video might reach someone with more information on her. Sadly, it's been 6 years since this footage was captured, and no one has been able to identify the young girl. That said, people online have come up with a few theories that might contain some truth. The more cynical side of the internet believes the girl was nothing more than bait for a group of robbers hiding just
No
outside
właśnie,
the camera's
przynęta,
view.
nie? No,
It's a known tactic where robbers send a scared-looking child or woman to the front door. Out of
przerażające.
concern, the homeowner opens the door to help, only for the robbers to appear from hiding and force their way inside. However, this theory doesn't really hold up when you consider just how genuinely distressed the girl sounded. Her voice and the frantic way she knocked seemed too real for a child that age to be faking. The more likely and more tragic theory is that this girl was 9-year-old Serenity Dennard, who had gone missing earlier that year.
O kurwa.
Serenity had been diagnosed with reactive detachment disorder and disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, which caused emotional instability and frequent attempts to run away. She was admitted to Black Hills Children's Home, a youth treatment facility near Rockerville, South Dakota. Unfortunately, the staff weren't able to keep a proper eye on her, resulting in her running away from the facility on the 3rd of February 2019. A massive search effort involving over 1,200 people was launched, but despite their best efforts, they couldn't find any clues about her whereabouts. The working theory was that she likely ran into the wooded area surrounding the facility, got lost, and succumbed to hyperthermia. However, police didn't rule out foul play. This is where the mysterious doorbell footage comes in. Many speculated that the girl in the video was Serenity, who had gone missing 9 months earlier. It's possible that a kidnapper took her to another state, and after months in captivity, she escaped and tried to ask for help. Though Serenity's family viewed the footage and said the girl wasn't her, many people online still believe it was. Unfortunately, none of the theories were ever confirmed or disproven. Investigators weren't able to find Serenity, and search efforts were officially suspended in early 2021, and the girl in the haunting doorbell video was never identified either, leaving her case an unsolved mystery.
Oglądam i słyszę hałas. Podchodzę do drzwi wejściowych. Okazuje się, że brat wychodząc zostawił drzwi otwarte. Powiedz wszystkim, że sprawdzili drzwi. Sprawdźcie drzwi, widzowie. I zamknijcie okna.
July 31st, 2022, just before 11 a.m., 22-year-old Allison Duckrow and her mother returned to their home in Sydney, Ohio after breakfast. While making their way inside, an unknown car pulled into their driveway. A second later, the driver approached the front door, 22-year-old James Rail, Allison's ex-boyfriend. The two had broken up over 18 months earlier and hadn't spoken since. The night before, he had sent her a creepy voice note saying he would visit her the next day.
Hi, Allie. It's James. I just wanted to reach out to you because I just wanted to see how you're doing, and maybe hear from you if that would be alright, I guess. It's been a while since I've talked to you, and
Ale po 18 miesiącach, tak? Co jest?
I don't know. I feel like it, I don't know what I feel. I do know that I do want to talk to you, though.
Gość się najebał, kurwa.
A
Tylko czemu on się znalazł później faktycznie pod jej domem?
It'd be nice. Be sweet. It's probably late right now, but if you want tomorrow, you could probably give me a call. And yeah, it's about it. Please give me a call back. Thank you.
Allison never responded or gave permission, but he showed up anyway. She recognized him through the live camera feed and decided to ignore him. After about 3 minutes, James left the porch, only to circle the house looking for another way in. When that failed, he returned to the front door again and began trying to break his way in.
O
When
kurwa.
Allison and her family didn't open the door, he became agitated and started forcing
Co?
it, with James refusing to stop.
Co jest do chuja?
Allison's father was left with no choice but to use his firearm, ending the confrontation minutes later.
Co ty gadasz?
The family had already called the police, but no one could have anticipated the scene that awaited them. Allison and her dad were questioned, and her father later stood trial on August 4th, 2022.
So if you would, I understand, were you aware of the text messages that
Powiem
Her
tak.
father- The family had already called the police, but no one could have anticipated the scene that awaited them. Allison and her dad were questioned, and her father later stood
Gigasat.
trial on August 4th, 2022.
So if you would, I understand, were you
W ojciec.
aware of the text messages that James had sent your daughter last night? Was not. Okay, so your daughter did not share those with you? No. Okay.
Thanks to the doorbell camera footage, he was acquitted of all charges on the basis of self-defense. On the night of January 18th, 2025, a homeowner in Carrollton, North Texas received a doorbell notification while out shopping. When she checked the live feed, she saw a mysterious man standing on her porch dressed in all black with a red face and holding what looked like a cardboard box. He moved closer, revealing that he was wearing a red satanic goat mask. He rang the doorbell and then walked away, leaving behind a sign with the words Revelation chapter 20, verses 1 to 15. The verse references the binding of Satan, resurrection, judgment, and eternal torment, making the visit even more disturbing. The homeowner called the police, but since the man hadn't committed a crime, they couldn't do much. As she later said in an interview, I'm scared. I'm scared to leave the house. I'm scared to be at the house. The story was later dropped by the media, and no follow-up information was ever reported. On July 21st, 2023, two elderly women visited the home of their friend, 58-year-old Sharon Gordon, in Dudley, UK. They hadn't heard from her in days, and upon entering, they discovered her lying face down near the stairs, covered in blood.
Co?
Police arrived quickly and confirmed it was a homicide. Investigators then checked the doorbell footage, which showed the last visitor to Sharon's home, her contractor, Peter Norgrove. He initially claimed Sharon was alive when he left, but footage revealed him leaving with bloodstains on his trousers.
O kurwa.
Investigators also found the weapon he used in his shed, and he later confessed. Sharon had hired him to build an extension, but after 15 months of delays and poor work, she confronted him. Peter lost his temper and attacked her with a hammer.
Czekaj, chcesz mi powiedzieć, że budowlaniec popędzony zajebał jej młotkiem i zabił ją? Co jest to
He later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. On October 6, 2024, Kristen Paul was watching TV at her
Domowych.
home in Fresno, California, waiting for her husband to return. Just after midnight, the doorbell rang. Assuming it was her husband, she opened the door,
Oj,
only to find an unknown woman with a crazed look. Christine slammed the door shut, but the woman became enraged and began trying to force it open.
ja
When
pierdolę,
that
dobrze, że
failed,
zdążyła
she tried
zamknąć.
breaking in through a nearby window.
Co jest?
Christine called the
Kurwa!
police while arming herself for protection. Luckily, an officer arrived within minutes and de-escalated the situation.
Hi. Hi.
You live here?
No, I don't.
Ona kurwa nie ma
Why are you
gaci?
banging on the door?
Because my friend is there.
Dzięki za
Despite her
limon.
erratic behavior, the woman immediately calmed down when confronted by police and was taken into custody. Christine later said she was just thankful the officer wasn't a minute later. On August 12, 2025, the Wilson family was asleep in their home in Midlothian, Texas. At
No
around
dobra, te filmy są by far straszniejsze, bo one są z prawdziwego po prostu życia i zdarzenia, a nie jakieś paranormalne domyślanie się czegoś, to jest tak chore.
1 a.m., 21-year-old Malia noticed a bright flash outside. When she ran downstairs, she saw their front yard engulfed in flames, just inches from the house.
Came halfway down the stairs and I seen this window right here just lit up in flames, and I just ran and got my dad.
She woke her father, who called the fire department. Firefighters arrived within minutes and extinguished the flames before they reached the home. The doorbell camera revealed that someone had poured gasoline around the house and
chuj.
set it on fire before fleeing.
Co
The
jest?
suspect wore a hoodie and mask, concealing their identity. The homeowner, Daryl Wilson, believed the attack was retaliation for a lawsuit he had filed against a former employer. However, police had not caught the arsonist, leaving the family terrified the attacker might return.
No i chuj, nie znaleźli go.
In the early morning of March 11th, 2025, a homeowner in North York, Pennsylvania, was awoken by strange movement on their porch. The footage showed a person wearing a colorful tie-dye cloak and a paper plate mask decorated with jagged teeth and red eyes. They carried a cardboard box, which they placed on the doormat before announcing themselves as the Box Demon.
I am the box demon.
A faint lullaby played in the background as they walked away into the darkness. Thankfully, the box was empty. People online later suggested the figure was dressed as Dandy, a Roblox horror character,
Yeah.
though the meaning behind the act remains a mystery.
Pomocy, kurwa.
In June 2023, the mother of Instagram model Guste Genescate noticed something disturbing in their doorbell footage. An unknown man had been following Guste home and was seen lingering around the house. He looked through the windows and wandered around the property. Terrified, her mother called the police,
Ale jak
but they couldn't
obczaja,
take
kurde,
action
patrz
since
go.
no crime had been committed. Unable to sleep, Guste set up a rope booby trap in the yard. A week later, the man returned and tripped on it around 2 a.m. When Guste checked the camera, she saw him standing right outside her bedroom window, staring inside. She woke her mother, who banged on the window and scared him away. Another woman in the neighborhood later reported the same man. Despite having a clear image of his face, police were unable to identify him, forcing Guste and her mother to move. As of now,
No
the
i kurwa, widzisz, nie? Nie znajdą typa, nie zamkną w żaden sposób, no bo też albo nie znajdą, albo po prostu nie mają za co go zamknąć teoretycznie, jeżeli tam nie ma wtargnięcia w tym konkretnym przypadku i kurde, no przeprowadzisz się, no bo to jest zbyt stresujące. Pewnie, że się przeprowadzisz, też bym się przeprowadził.
remains unidentified. Late one night in an Alexandria, Virginia neighborhood, a doorbell camera captured pure horror.
Co jest? Jakaś sekta?
3 masked figures in full Halloween costumes stood outside a home at around 10 p.m. and refused to leave. One of the occupants, Shayla, initially thought it was a prank and even greeted them with Happy Halloween. But within seconds, the mood changed. The trio rang the bell, shook the doorknob, and kept knocking, the knocks growing louder and more aggressive.
O chuj.
Open the door! Open the door!
When they couldn't force open the front door, they moved to the backyard, slashed through a wooden fence, smashed a deck screen, and pounded on the windows,
Kurwa,
taunting the family
włamali się
inside.
na
They
posesję.
threatened to kill the occupants, telling them it's either you coming out or we coming in.
It's either you come out or we coming in!
The ordeal lasted about 6 to 10 minutes before the masked intruders finally left, but not before leaving the family shaken and
I ma jacyś
fearful.
gówniarze? Ta, normalnie. I płot rozjebali i poszli walić w okna.
The homeowner's daughter later said they were forced into hiding and felt unsafe in their own home.
Wątpię.
Died, so it's just like, I'm just glad I was there. Now she's in fear. She don't want to stay there by herself. It could have been bad. Our Second Amendment right was not used and could have been, like, being very transparent.
Authorities launched a criminal investigation for attempted burglary and criminal threats.
Chore ścierwo. Trzecia część. No i chuj, co? Nie pogram dzisiaj, tak? Jebać granie. To jest 30 razy lepsze. Jutro sobie pograsz.